seems like I didn't explain this well enough, because a lot of you had different answers for how many counters Indominus Rex Alpha would get if we discarded a card like Breaker of Creation, which has hexproof from each color. Now, a lot of people seem to think that it cares about hexproof specifically. That hexproof from each color is specifically not hexproof. And so because of that, Indominus Rex Alpha would have 0 counters put on it. But let's go over what hexproof from each characteristic means exactly, because hexproof from each is a shorthand for hexproof from quality A, hexproof from quality B, and so on. So when it says from each, what it really means all the different variations of hexproof from. In this case, for each color would be 5 different variations of hexproof from one of each color. Each of those behaves as multiple separate hexproof abilities. So they're all still hexproof, but they're all different types of hexproof abilities. Okay, but hexproof from white is still different from hexproof, isn't it? Well, hexproof from quality is a variant of a hexproof ability. A hexproof from quality ability is a hexproof ability. Hexproof and hexproof from are both hexproof abilities. They are both hexproof. And this ruling further clarifies how any effect that looks for a card with hexproof will find any card with hexproof from quality ability. It'll find any other variants. So a Monvuli Beast Tracker being able to search my library for a hexproof creature could search my library for just regular hexproof, but also something like hexproof from monocolored would count as well. It treats the word hexproof as hexproof or any other variant. Okay, so we established that hexproof from each color really is 5 different versions of hexproof from. But isn't Indominus Rex Alpha only asking to check for 1 instance of hexproof? Like, if we discarded 2 cards with flying, it would still only get 1 flying counter on it, right? And that would be correct. If you discard 2 creatures with flying, you would still only get 1 flying counter. But here's the final piece of the puzzle that I did not include in my last video, but to be honest, I didn't know about either. Now, I'm going to read this entire ruling out, but I'm going to break it down afterwards. Now, it says an effect may state that the same is true for a list of keyword abilities or similar. If one of those keyword abilities have variants or variables, and the effect grants that keyword or counters of that keyword to 1 or more objects and or players, it grants each appropriate variant and variable of that keyword. And we can see that in the example with concerted effort, how different variations of protection will be applied even though they are both protection. The same is true for Indominus Rex Alpha. Basically, what this ruling is saying is that if it has the wording the same is true for, which Indominus Rex does, it says the same is true for, and it lists off a bunch of keyword abilities or similar, which again, Indominus Rex does. If one of those keyword abilities have variants or variables, which hexproof does, and the effect grants that keyword or counters of that keyword, which Indominus Rex does, grants each appropriate variant and variable of that keyword. The keyword hexproof does have variants. Hexproof from each color is 5 different variants of hexproof, and it will grant each appropriate variant and variable of that keyword. So hopefully that makes it pretty clear that discarding a Breaker of Creation will give you 5 different hexproof counters on Indominus Rex Alpha.